Hello, this video is on multiplying fractions. Today I'm going to multiply fractions using both the standard algorithm and the area model. So I'm first going to model and then show you how the model and the algorithm connect. So very first thing I'm going to do is draw a rectangle. It doesn't have to be a rectangle, but to me, using rectangles is easier than any other shape. And with this rectangle, I'm going to cut it in half and then just shade in one half of it. All right. Now I am going to cut it in half again, and I'm going to shade in one of those halves in a different color. Now, the primary reason why I first shaded in half was because with this particular problem, we need to think of it as one half of one half. So the first thing I did was I shaded in this purple half. Then I cut the model in half horizontally, and then I shaded in one of those halves in a different color, which is yellow. So the answer to this problem is actually going to be represented by the portion that is double shaded. Okay? Now, to connect this back to the standard algorithm, we know that the standard algorithm is numerator times numerator and denominator times denominator. So 1 times 1 is 1, 2 times 2 is 4. So if you go back and look at this model, 1/4 of the entire model is double shaded, which represents the 1/4 that we get in the answer whenever we use the standard algorithm. So I know that was quick, so I'm going to walk you through a couple more examples. All right, so this time we're going to take 3/4 of 1/3. So the first thing I'm going to do is draw a rectangle, and I'm going to cut it up into thirds, and I am going to shade one of those thirds. Use red. So, and yeah, I know I'm using the computer, and I could easily draw this or get the computer to make the shapes so that they're all nice and pretty. But let's be realistic. When children are working these problems out, they may not have a computer in front of them. So I'm just going to do it by hand. I'm going to demonstrate the way that most of them would be able to do it. So I'm going to take this model and now cut it into fourths horizontally. Now my model is cut up into 12 pieces. Now, one thing I didn't elaborate on in the last example is why I shaded in one half of a whole row instead of just one half of the part that I know I'm focusing on. So in this case, let me explain as I go through. So I already have the one half, and now I'm trying to find the 3/4 of one half. So the reason why I shade in the whole model or whole part of the model is so that I realize and so that I can see that my answer is really a fraction of the whole thing. So although I'm taking a fraction of a fraction, that answer represents a fraction of the whole model. So I'm shading in 3/4. And we are going to change the color here. And I'm going to circle the part that represents our answer. Got those Christmas colors in there. So we have 3 out of the 12 pieces shaded. So our answer is going to be 3/12. Now, when I work that out, 3 times 1 is 3. 4 times 3 is 12. Now, most of the time you'll probably be asked to simplify that answer, and you can simplify it by dividing both 3 and 12 by 3 because that is their only common factor other than 1. And we know when we divide by 1, we're just going to end up with 3 and 12 again. So we're going to divide 3 by 3, 3, or 12 by 3, and we end up with 1/4. Now, down here in the model, that's pretty hard to see because the pieces do not complete a full column. So what I'm going to do is just shift them around, and I'm going to show that in purple. So I'm just going to take this piece, color in purple, and I'm going to take this piece right here that is double shaded, and just show it moving right there. And then I'm going to take this one that is double shaded and show it being moved right there. So now you have one entire row that has the purple on it, and that row represents 1/4 of the whole model. Okay. All right, let's do one more example. And this time I'm going to have to come up with one because I did not do so from the beginning. So I'm going to take 3, 6, and well, let's not do 3, 6 because it's really just 1/2. Let's make it 5, 6. Might help if I actually select the eraser. So we're going to take 5, 6 of 1/4. So I'm going to go ahead and draw my model so that I have that 1/4. Represent. I'm going to shade in the 1/4. Let's go with red again. Now, this problem is 5, 6 times 1/4. And remember, we're going to think of that as 5, 6 times, or 5, 6 of 1/4. So I'm going to take that 1/4, cut it into 6 parts, and then I'm going to shade in 5 of the 6. Let's use blue this time. Excellent. Draw those lines. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That gives me 6 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And let's shade in blue. So I need to shade in 5 of these 6 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is the 5th one. Alright, so we need to focus on the parts that are double shaded. So I'm going to take a color, green, and I'm going to circle the parts that are double shaded. Now, we need to focus on how many parts the whole is now divided into. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 times 4 is 24. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that are double shaded. Now I'm going to go back and use the standard algorithm. Numerator times numerator. 5 times 1 is 5. And then denominator times denominator. 6 times 4 is 24. Alright, this answer cannot be simplified because 5 and 24 only share 1 as a common factor. So therefore, 5/24 is the final answer. Alright, this is just 3 quick examples on multiplying fractions using models and the standard algorithm.